All right, so next one is those jerks. So you'd think we'd be the most excited to talk about this one,
I mean,
being
okay. You know
being
what?
JRPG guys.
If I were gonna like rank conferences, it would probably be I don't know. It's if I'm including the games with the publishers they belong with,
Right.
then most likely Squenix is still my top conference.
No, no, no. If when you put it like that, then yes, Square Enix is definitely the one that is the most exciting. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
When you put it like that,
right.
but the reality of it was that the most exciting trailer of E3 was not played here
Yeah,
where it should have been played.
right where
It
it
was
should have been
played at the
played.
Sony
Yeah,
conference. But we'll get to it because
yeah.
first we have to talk about your favorite.
Just Cause 3. Woo!
Yes,
Oh
your
my
favorite game
god! Oh my
ever.
god! It's so good! It's so good! So good! Oh my god! It looks so good! And they're giving you more grappling hooks and like little like wingsuits and and like the I think the thing that the only concern that anyone has about Just Cause 3, and I wasn't quite a big, it wasn't really too much of an issue with Just Cause 2, but the only thing anyone's concerned about is don't let the game get in the way of the fun. That would be the worst thing that could happen to this
Right,
game.
right,
Cause like please, whatever plot you're gonna use to string together some missions, like put
right.
as little thought into it as possible,
Yes, make
and
sure
just
they are comical, or not
yeah,
even comical, just like hollow, and make
yeah,
sure you're aware of the hollowness.
and then you mail it and just go full throttle on everything blowing up and everything going crazy. Because that's, I mean, to me, especially like right now, I mentioned earlier in another conference discussion that I'm currently playing through Saints Row's 2 through 4,
Right,
and that's an interesting experience for me because obviously, that's another game that a lot of people compare directly with the other sort of core sandbox games, GTA, blah, blah, whatever, and Just Cause 2, was a game that said like, in much the same way that I think Blood Dragon kind of repudiated Far Cry 3 for being too concerned about realism or whatever, like sometimes you just want to say, I'm playing a video game and I don't care about realism and I want to hijack helicopters by grappling onto them and then throwing the pilot out. Like,
right,
that's just the
exactly.
thing I want to do. I
Right,
want to jump off cliffs and, like, and do base jump and shit and all these things. And if your game's going to be obsessed with, like, having me die because I fell off a second story building, like, whatever, like get over yourself, you're
right,
making a video game.
right,
And so
exactly.
Just Cause 3, it looks great. I think they're going in the right direction and I'm really excited.
Yeah, Just Cause is a type of game that I respect because it's a video game, and it's thoroughly a video game, and it knows that it's a video game, and I like that. It's kind of the opposite of Arkham Knight in that regard.
Yeah,
Like it is so. At least Just Cause 2 was. Just
right.
Cause 3, I'm not. I have less to. I
And
don't
like
know.
the hero of Just Cause is like, it's like so obvious that it's like, I'm Rico Rodriguez and I'm being so macho. Like,
Right, right,
and it's
right.
like, yeah, like, okay, this is fine.
All right.
So
So
the next one I'm gonna let you take because I don't care about NieR and I don't care about Platinum Games.
okay, well, NieR is interesting because the first NieR is a really weird game. It's a very bizarre RPG. It's sort of okay. So
Was it a NieR hit?
oh boy,
All right,
oh
keep going.
boy. But NieR came out in the on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and it was definitely out at the time when JRPGs were like I don't want to say dead because there were some Tales games here and there and stuff like that, at least in the West. But there really JRPGs wasn't really a thing that was happening anymore, you know. And NieR is super weird. It's a kind of an action RPG and it has a really weird, macabre sort of plot about a haunted book and all sorts of other things. And the idea of Platinum making the next NieR is so exciting. The Platinum guys and gals are so good at making action games. They're so good at it. And for them to be doing I would imagine the combat of this game is so exciting. And also that mask. Like
Oh yeah, no,
that was amazing.
that was the most incredible sartorial choice of the evening was the moon mask. Did you read that article I sent you, the AV Club article criticizing the sartorial decisions of
Yes, I
E3?
did see that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that the moon mask was real. Let's and the scarf, the scarf was good. Scarf was important too, and like the robes and everything it was very
Right,
good.
right, right.
Um,
But yeah, there wasn't a gameplay trailer, so there's not a whole lot to
yeah,
say.
not too much to say. The next game did have a gameplay trailer, but honestly, and I think this is kind of a theme that I've said in a few other conferences, where when it comes to new installments in a series, like
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider being a new installment in the
Uh
Tomb
huh.
Raider kind of reboot series, I guess presumably,
Uh huh.
I have Tomb Raider 2013
Yep.
on Steam. It's on my
Yeah, it's on here
backlog.
too.
I'm going to play it.
Right.
And my opinions on whether or not I'm interested in Rise of the Tomb Raider will probably be a wholly 100% conditional on how I like Tomb Raider 2013. It looked to me to be in a similar vein to Uncharted, and it kind of had the, you go through little action sequences and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that's a fun game. I could
Right.
enjoy it. But, I think I need to look at their first effort to say, is what are the decisions that these devs make the kind of decisions that I like?
Right. Exactly. I did not play Tomb Raider 2013. Uh, I agree that this looks kind of Uncharted-y. Um, I don't know. It looks cool though, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean it could be good. It's just I don't know.
I'd wait to hear. I guess what I'd wait to hear more. I guess the
Sure.
gameplay trailer. Like you could put me in this in the same boat as Uncharted, where like this looks cool. It just there's nothing here that screams that captures my interest really,
Yeah.
as far as like a gameplay
Yeah.
experience goes.
The Lara Croft Go mobile game, not interested.
Nope.
Do you have? I think you've had some experiences with FF14. Did you want to say anything about the Heavensward stuff?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of Final Fantasy 14. I thought it was fun. But what I played was like a trial.
Okay.
And the thing about MMO trials is that like it never feels like it always feels like you can't possibly like there's a point you reach where it's like, oh, putting this much effort into it is pointless because it's only a trial, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I liked the look of it. It didn't. I wasn't sure if there was enough. Um. What was I gonna say? Like there was enough to keep me playing it, I guess. I don't know. Looks cool, and I'm sure the Final Fantasy 14 people are excited for it.
Yep. Okay. So, have you touched at all on speaking of indie experiential sort of games? I've heard good things about Life is Strange. It might be something I get soon. Have you dealt with it at all?
I'd be interested in checking it out. It looks like the sort of thing that I enjoy, like a narrative based sort of like it reminded me when I was watching it. It reminded me of like a Telltale game style sort of thing, like like they did the Wolf Among Us and the Game of Thrones sorts of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Speaking
yeah,
of other games that I need to get to on my Steam backlog, Wolf Among
right.
Us is definitely one of those.
I'd be interested.
Now the next is from the good old Dairy Queen series. But can I just say, recently when I've been watching streams, I've noticed among the speedrunning streams that I watch that there's been sort of a among the people who can devote the time to it, there has been a surge in interest lately in the good old Dragon Quest series.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to a point in my life, having witnessed things like Dragon Ball stuff and these games and Tobal Number One and other important things, that I think I never want to see another Toriyama character again. Like, I just can't stand the way they look, because I think there's like 6 of them.
Well, I think that's interesting. I think the reality of Dragon Quest Heroes is that it's been out in Japan for a while now.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely a localization thing.
I don't know. I I don't feel the same way about the Toriyama style,
Okay.
but I don't disagree with you either, though. I don't know. Dragon Quest Heroes. I feel like I'd be more excited about this if I had played more than just Dragon Quest 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So before we get into the big announcement,
yeah,
because we're gonna do it in the order that Sony did it because it was funny.
right.
Um, I really think World of Final Fantasy looks like a fun game. Like from what they showed us, it looks like a cute chibi like basic JRPG with tons of references to Final Fantasy games. And I want to know more, of course, but I'm interested in this.
I'm kind of interested. I do think it's a weird thing. I don't understand who it's for.
Here's the thing though. I think at this point, you know, a part of the Final Fantasy audience sort of wants the series history to be involved in it,
Right.
but like the series has been going on for a long time now,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think and like I'm kind of thinking into the future where if you're gonna have new generations of gamers, like, is World of Final Fantasy going to be like a kid-friendly JRPG that's going to help them understand like these references or something?
That's
It-
not. I guess it just seems like it seems interesting to me to make this sort of like I don't want to say bare bones, but this sort of like lesser hard like less technical gameplay experience with but that's full of references that only like a fan is going to get. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and it just like it just I think it looks interesting, and I know there are Final Fantasy fans who are going to like this a lot. Like
yeah,
I'm thinking of Xenogear's biggest fan. I
yeah,
think would be interested in this.
yeah, yeah.
But I just I don't know. It just it makes me question who it's for. Really, it's like I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
it's more involved than I
Right.
thought the trailer was.
And to me, it also I feel like maybe it's going to be reminiscent of like Crystal Chronicles kind of thing or something. Just
Right.
kind of that side Final Fantasy game that's just sort of a one-off. Um, so they announced this remake of a game. I don't know if you're familiar with the game.
No.
Final Fantasy Seven.
Final Fantasy 7. Yeah.
Seven.
Yeah. So
Um,
okay. So can we before we talk about because I think we should take this opportunity to talk about the things
oh,
that you think that
oh
they'll do
my.
different rather than the things you think that they'll recreate.
Yeah.
But real quick, I just want to say that do you think that this is something they've always intended on doing?
How long is always?
From let's say from like let's go back to the PlayStation 3 tech demo when that came out. Do you think
Oh, do I think it goes back to the PlayStation 3 tech demo?
yes?
Uh, honestly, I think the answer for that is no. But I
Okay.
do think this has probably been in the works for at least 3 or 4 years.
Right. Okay. And
I
so
think this is them bowing and caving into pressure.
yes,
And
that's mostly what I was
yeah,
asking was do you think this is something that that is all motivated by the fact that they know that just the idea of this makes them money.
yeah,
Just putting this out there means that people are going to be paying attention to Square Enix again. You know,
yeah, yeah,
and Square Enix, let's be honest, has not been doing anything like they've been publishing games, sure.
yeah,
You know, like Deus Ex, which we'll talk about,
yeah.
and Lara Croft, which we've already talked about, or Tomb Raider rather, which we've already talked
No,
about.
it's funny because I feel like they're the sort of the what I almost call the Eidos side of the publishing has
Right.
been successful, whereas the more traditional Squenix games are kind of been whatever.
Right, and so like, okay, so let's first like before we talk about how we think that Final Fantasy VII the remake is going to be, let's talk about the trailer itself real quick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the sort of self-aware narration?
I kind of like it. I thought it was kind of cute. It's cheeky, because it's getting in because obviously they're talking about things within the narrative and the ancients and this and that, but at the same time they're obviously kind of hamming it up with this is your sort of gaming history that we're bringing back here.
Right.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was appropriate. I think you can't not acknowledge that this is for a lot of people's personal gaming histories, this is a deal. This is a thing.
Right. Okay. So let me go. Let me start first by saying that I really liked the first half of the trailer where I was not sure what it was talking about.
Yeah.
Where I was like, "Whoa, what is this now?" And then you get There are 2 points I think where you realize what's going on. I think the first point is when they show you the playground, and you're like, oh. And then the second point is the music sting. When the that sort of starts. Yeah. That's when you're like, oh, this is Final Fantasy VII. This is Final Fantasy VII something. And I think, and for me, my brain was like, oh, they're recreating the opening sequence. Like where we pan over Midgar and the train and Eris walks into the street. And I really felt like when we're going through that sort of hallway in the trailer, I'm like, okay, we're going to pop out and Eris is going to show up. Yeah. And then we see Eris, and then it's fucking Cloud and Barrett walking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what scene is this even in Final Fantasy VII? Like, at no point are Barrett and Cloud walking in a crowded area. You know what I mean? And that's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
It's not important. It just bummed me out that like the Final Fantasy VII remake trailer reveal. Like, obviously it's gonna have Cloud, but Barrett? Like I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. I mean, Barrett. I mean, obviously, I think one of the big discussions around the remake is this sort of what do you do about the plurality of iconic moments from Final Fantasy VII? I just don't know if I can get into a discussion about what to have included in that trailer and what to have not. Because certainly, we talk about the tech demo, talk about the Flower Girl thing.
Sure.
That would have been an obvious place to go. But at the same time, I kind of liked seeing Barrett. One of the reasons I like seeing Barrett is because I think a lot of people like, oh, if you make it in HD, it's not going to have the same kind of character because it won't be the little, jaggedy polygonal sprites and everything.
Right.
But I think what you saw, I think to me, seeing Barrett's gun arm was really cool. That was something I wanted to see. That was, to me, it looks like it fit. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, Barrett's gun arm won't make any sense in like super HD crazy graphics." But like, no, it's there. It's fine. People can do this. Like, this is going to work. I mean, at least that worked. Obviously, the whole final product. But
yeah, it looks like they were going off of the sort of Advent Children style, at least, sort of more chain gun looking thing. Okay, so in that note, do you think this will be a JRPG? Like a turn-based JRPG?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, I disagree.
You don't think so?
I think we're going to see a more along the lines of Kingdom Hearts or Crisis Core sort of gameplay. I do not think...
I think people are... No, I don't know. I guess my feeling on that is that would be... That... I guess, and of course one of the other things besides the iconic moments is people are saying... what's going to be different, what's not going to be different. Certainly, Nomura has suggested that it's not going to be a carbon copy with refreshed graphics.
Right.
I don't know. That seems like, I don't know. Like in terms of the gameplay, I guess when I think about the gameplay, I want to see things change. I don't want it to be the same game in terms of gameplay. But I don't want it to be KH or Crisis Core.
I would be shocked if it was still a turn-based RPG that gets released in the next couple. Like, I just don't think people would accept that on a console anymore.
Really?
I really don't think so. I mean, maybe I'm cynical,
I think you're, yeah.
I just assume that everybody hates the things that I love, but because I just want this to be a super nice-looking cinematic. Camera moving around, really detailed models, JRPG. That's just what I want.
Yeah, no, that's what I want too, yeah.
I don't need it, but I just don't think they'll do that, because I don't think that's what they think people want. Square is because then if it was the case, then I don't know why they'd be moving away from the turn-based combat in Final Fantasy 13 at all,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm concerned about is my big concern about this Final Fantasy VII Remake is that I'm interested in what they think the priorities in the story are. I'm interested in.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah.
What I would be interested in what they change. I'd be interested in what they think is important to keep. I am interested in what will be the focus of some of the, like, I'm interested in playing a Final Fantasy VII with a script, like a real script that someone wrote.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
with voice acting.
Oh God, I'm not looking forward to that.
Come on.
Voice acting. Okay, can I? All right, let me.
Yeah.
I have a long-standing theory that one of the things that contributed to, like, the sort of like just the sort of like way that RPGs are received in the West is voice acting and how it became a priority. And the thing is, voice acting sucks. Like, voice acting in video games that are not done by AAA studios like BioWare or Bethesda, where they can hire people, is boring and bad most times. Yeah. And I don't want to be a hater, because there's so many games I like. Wait until we play Xenosaga. You know, like, Xenosaga is going to be a fully voice acted experience where we are largely going to be riffing it the whole time, and I love that game. But the voice acting is it comes off like individual lines written in a vacuum, and that's because that's what they are.
Probably how they were recorded, yeah, for sure.
Right. And so, like, there's no chemistry sometimes, there's no, like, you know, sometimes people say things in a way that doesn't make sense because they're trying to match lip flap. And so I don't like voice acting, and I bet you Square will spend the money and make it okay. Like, that was one of the things about 13 that was good, I felt, other than Vanille. Like, you can say what you want about Vanille, but at least, like, other characters sounded good and were written well. Yeah. You know?
I don't know. Anyway. I've only seen parts of those games. I really wish Saz was better in terms of his portrayal. But,
right. But no, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I mean, you know, do you think they're going to deviate from the story too much?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if anything, I hope that they...
Well, okay, let me rephrase this real quick. Okay. Do you think they're going to deviate from Final Fantasy VII's story to accommodate things that they've established in further material?
Do I think they're going to kind of bring in the extended universe?
Yes.
Well, Nomura is the director, and he did make Crisis Core.
Right.
I don't know. I hope that if they are to do any of that kind of stuff, you know, whether it be Dirge Cerberus stuff or Crisis Core stuff, you know, to some extent, and I think we've discussed this before when we've kind of brought up Crisis Core, the parts of Crisis Core that are, like, centrally related to 7, which is specifically, like, Zack interacting with Cloud and Zack being Zack, to see some more of that, you know, to see some of the Zack personality come out and things like that, isn't something I would necessarily be opposed to. I mean, I think there are really cool things that you could do where you could show Cloud's reconstructed personality based on Zack, and use things from Crisis Core in terms of exploring that and fleshing that out. I think that would be a great way to incorporate those elements.
Right.
But, like, you know, as far as you know, Genesis or Anjail or any of that crap, no, please don't.
Right. Well, okay, so I guess to sum up, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm concerned about what they will do in order to make it fit into the modern sort of gaming market. You know, I'm concerned about the tone, and I'm concerned about how things will translate. But, you know, I am at the core excited that Final Fantasy VII was the first game we finished on #LaserTaser. Sure. It will always be special.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, what's next? I don't even remember what... Oh, wait, yeah.
There's a Kingdom Hearts mobile thing.
Yeah, let's not talk about
it. Okay. And then there's that Kingdom Hearts 3. I have not played 1 or 2. I feel like if I were to get into the series, I'd probably start from the beginning. Don't know if that's ever going to happen. Go ahead.
That's too bad, because
whatever. It's just like, I don't know. It just looks so... It looks like a lot of brand recognition and really bland action RPG stuff. And, like, I know people like it, so it's probably better than I'm thinking it is. But
so wrong.
That's how it looks to me.
Okay. I will say that as far as, like, plot, you're so not wrong in that. I think that in regards to story, that Kingdom Hearts 1 has a good JRPG story where you have, like it has a good like start, middle, and end, and it uses the Disney characters pretty well in Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2 is where it lost its flipping mind, and Nomura was given free reign to put in all of his anime things, and it really put the focus on the original story of Kingdom Hearts rather than the sort of like let's like have fun with all these Disney worlds and how we can visit all these Disney places.
Yeah.
That really went into the background and was just something that you also did while pursuing these greater sort of and in Kingdom Hearts 3, I bet the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer you like, there's almost no Disney as far as you can see in the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, Like, the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer shows Donald and Goofy, and it shows some of the summons that you can do with the electric, what is it called? There's a parade in Disney World where it's the electric
light orchestra,
light parade, the electric light and
the
something parade.
Electric capitalism, electric despotism,
Oh, whatever.
Electric control your absolute rights forever.
Yes.
What?
Well, in any case,
electric infinite copyright.
All right. Well, in any case,
Go on.
Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer to move away from and actually talk about the trailer itself. It didn't show us anything we haven't seen before.
Okay.
Other than the those two children who I'm pretty sure one of them is the younger version of a character who is a reference to Nomura. I don't want to get too much into the plot because it's so something. It's funny. You know how you recommend like Birdemic or The Room, and you don't recommend it on the strength of the film itself, but rather the experience of watching it?
Yes.
I would almost say that Kingdom Hearts 2 et al.'s plot from then on is worth experiencing for that same sort of kind of reason.
Yeah.
Because it's so insane.
Yeah.
And the character in question is a quote-unquote Keyblade master who teaches some of the other main characters in the PlayStation, the PSP game, Birth by Sleep. God, I don't remember what his name is, but he's visually supposed to represent Nomura. And I think what we're seeing here is a clear, like, light side, dark side. They're even playing, like, a chess match.
Yeah,
like a fucking Gungi match. And I don't know. There's not much to say because it's all the same stuff. Like, it's Sora jumping around, and it looks really nice. But it tells us nothing about the game. There's no new information, really. Sora has a new outfit, kind of. That's cool. And then there's Final Fantasy World, I guess. But we already talked about that.
Oh, yeah, we already talked about that. So the next thing is the game that will soon be called Hitman 2016 or whatever, or Hitman 2015. Guess what? If you don't give the sequels names, they will be given names because we are not robots or whatever. Right. Anyway, as far as the game, I mean, everyone who has played Hitman games will tell you everything. Will always tell you the same thing. They want them to be like Blood Money and Absolution, more like Aberration.
Right.
So I everyone's just kind of holding their breath. They're like, can this series get back to form? Because if it can, it's really cool. But if not, I mean, and there were signs that, that I think they realize that the core of the game is not hanging some narrative on top of the series of assassinations.
Right.
It's setting up these sort of levels and sandboxes where you have these different ways to assassinate the target and escape, and you can use disguises and accidents and this and that and this and that, and that's really what people like about the Hitman series. So hopefully, they're going back to that. I mean, I think that's what they're telling us, and hopefully it will be true.
Yeah, I mean, I have no experience with Hitman at all. So, it wasn't a gameplay trailer, so I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what game did have a super sweet subtitle?
What's that?
Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness.
Okay, so let's talk about Star Ocean real quick.
I haven't played them.
Oh, you haven't played any of them?
Nope. I heard that Star Ocean 3 is secretly a video game, but that's all I know.
Okay, so I've played Star Oceans 1, 2, and 3, and I started Star Ocean 4 on the Xbox 360.
Okay.
Never finished it.
Yeah.
Star Ocean is an annoying series for me because it is, except for 4 and 3, kind of. It is a game ostensibly that takes place in a sci-fi setting, but you always end up on a fantasy planet. You know,
Okay.
you always end up on a pretty standard
Yeah.
JRPG sort of planet. This is less true in Star Ocean 3, where you just spend most of your time on the fantasy planet. But in Star Ocean 4, you are on a fantasy planet for a fair amount of it, but it is also a sci-fi setting. Um, these games are super mediocre.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
At least in regards to, like, I don't know what it is about action RPGs, but for some reason it's tough to get them to be as affecting or as like stay with you, because I enjoy the Tales games, for example.
Yeah.
But I can't remember anything about any of them. You know, like, and I think that says something about it. And I think that's what's going on with Star Ocean also.
Yeah.
Like, Star Ocean 2 is really memorable voice acting, because it's really bad. But I agree that the Star Ocean 4 subtitle is amazing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, to be honest, I feel like Star Ocean is one of those series where, you know, at the right place and right time, kind of like, you know, like a Kingdom Hearts, or like the Tales games I've never touched either. You know, it's just the kind of an JRPG RE series that I have not really, you know, ever had the opportunity to play.
Yeah,
So,
I would say Kingdom Hearts is one that you should definitely check out. I think Kingdom Hearts is in a way that, like, is interesting about Kingdom Hearts, because it's such a commercial
yeah.
thing. You know, I think it's one of the PS2 RPGs that you should experience, because it has a weird sort of tone to it that is communicated really well, despite having a Disney trapping.
Yeah.
Like, at least the first one. The second one, I think, is a good gameplay experience. I think the second one is when they really nailed the gameplay.
Yeah.
But the first one nails a tone really, really well.
Okay.
So that's why I think so many people want a real numbered sequel, is because all the other ones are not as, you know...
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Next up is one of my other top games that I'm interested in, is Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Yes.
Which, you know, is interesting. I recently, I did play through the director's cut with developer commentary on, so I feel like I know these people more now. And I think they're all seem like pretty great people. And I'm excited to see, you know, what this is about. It seems like they're kind of... I think one of the things that I'm really glad about in terms of watching the gameplay stuff is it seems like I felt like in terms of tools that the player had available in Human Revolution, the problems were is that if you played non-lethal, you had a smaller toolkit than the lethal toolkit, and it just seemed kind of silly. And then, you know, even though there were like cool things like the arm blades, you would never really like have an opportunity to use them and stuff like that. And I think now they've sort of expanded both the non-lethal toolkit and also, you know, other things you could do if you're playing more lethal style, which I appreciate. I think they realize, you know, that because Deus Ex is that again, you know, give the player the options sort of gameplay, that you want to devote, you know, attention to make those different parts of the game, you know, interesting. And I look forward to that. I look forward to some of the cool non-lethal options and stuff like that, the hacking and things, whatnot. Did you have any comment about the Final Fantasy portable app for your mobile device?
No.
But you know what I did hear?
What?
I did hear that through this app, you will be able to play Triple Triad on your phone.
What?
And did you know that Triple Triad is better than Tetramaster?
You are wrong. You are so wrong.
Well, you can play Triple Triad on your phone, but you can't play Tetramaster, so obviously Triple Triad is better.
Oh, man. They're so wrong. Why wouldn't they make fucking, like, goddamn Tetramaster? Tetramaster's so much better than Triple Triad. Is that the last thing from Sweden?
The last thing is Project Setsuna, but they didn't barely tell us anything about that, so...
Okay.
That was like we're going to make a JRPG with people, and here's some concept art.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I guess that's really all to say about that.
Yeah.
So what's next? The PC conference?
Yeah, the PC conference. I mean, I think most of the stuff here wasn't really, you know, Killing Floor 2 looks just like Doom. You know, Star Citizen was like a cinematic trailer. Didn't even care about that. Total War Warhammer looks fun.
Yeah. I will say that I that this is the one that I did not watch.
Yeah.
Uh, I did not catch this one, so I don't really I haven't seen anything from it. Warhammer Total War sounds awesome to me. I wish it was Warhammer 40K.
Hmm.
But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not. Do you think that's the only like notable thing to mention?
I'm gonna run for you run through a few. Gears of War, the original Ultimate Edition, is coming to PC. If that game has online co-op, I would maybe be interested in it. That's what I would
Cool.
say about that. The makers of Euro Truck Simulator are making American Truck Simulator. You know, that's very important.
Okay.
Um, I guess if you're an old Western RPG fan, I heard Pillars of Eternity by Obsidian was really good. I haven't gotten around to it.
Oh yeah, that thing. I've heard about it.
There's a new roller coaster tycoon type game coming out, which
Huh.
is cool, I guess, if
Is
you
it
like
really
that.
something they talked about at this show?
Yeah, yeah, no, I forget the name of it. I wrote down Simulation Coaster as the name, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's called something else. But I never liked those games, so whatever.
Nope, me neither.
Guild Wars 2, second class citizens of the MMO world. Arma 3, super. I already talked about how.
Real quick, I'll just say
Yeah.
about Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
I'm glad that they're still supporting Guild Wars 2. That's
Okay.
but it's just I played that game for a little while. It was fun. I don't think I have looked at anything with this new one at all. This Throne of Thorns, I think it's called.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and didn't they also talk about goddamn Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah, oh yeah, they did. That was like one of the last things. And like, whatever, forget MOBAs. MOBAs are terrible. Don't
It's
play
not
MOBAs.
really MOBA even.
Is it not?
Well, it really is more focused on like combat and being in like they really want you to be like the goal of the game to be to play your hero against the other heroes,
Okay.
which is different from MOBAs where or at least from your League of Legends and your Dotas where they're objective based games. And
Yeah.
while there are objectives in Heroes of the Storm, it feels like those objectives are not the things that cause you to win. Or like you don't get them and then you win. They just
Yeah.
help your cause towards winning.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't like Heroes of the Storm that much. Go ahead, go on with your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really too much more. I think the only other game that I thought really jumped out to me was Soma, which is the next game from the makers of Amnesia.
Right.
Which looks neat. I'm just really concerned that it's going to have the same type of gameplay, like exactly the same type.
Right.
And I'm a little, because, recently I tried to play the Penumbra games, and I'm a little tired of that formula now, because I guess I'm the person who has, like, I have, like, a hit list of, like,
Right.
people in video games that I want to kill that I never got the chance to kill.
Right.
And the first two names on that hit list are Harbinger
yes, of course.
and Songbird.
Right.
And like,
I so disagree with you with Songbird, but that's fine.
I'm gonna fuck Songbird up so hard.
No, what? Are you? Oh, no. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But the whole point of that is that, like, the whole point of, like, the Amnesia Penumbra games is that, like, that you're not going to, like, defeat your enemies, that you're, like, avoiding them or stealthing past them or whatever, and that's, I don't know, that's entertaining for a period of time, but always the problem with horror games like that is that eventually, after you get over, the experience of the frightening and all that, is that it becomes a game, and once you take away the experience, the sort of movie nature of it almost, and you stop being afraid, then the game stops being interesting because the game isn't interesting.
Right.
So I guess that's just my concern. It looks cool, and I just want to know that there's more to it than Amnesia and Penumbra.
Right. Okay. So can I? All right. It's related. I'm going to talk about with the Amnesia games and that sort of thing. So the thing about the Amnesia games is that the gameplay is really. Would you agree that the gameplay is light in those games? Like
Yeah, it's on the lighter side. I
that,
think one of the problems with those games is that they often have these sort of janky move objects around to do puzzles stuff,
right? Yes.
and it's usually because that becomes the game, and they're usually not very good. It's just
No.
very
Well,
annoying.
well, what I was gonna say is that the thing about Amnesia is that it's really it wants you to bank on its narrative, its tone, and its aesthetic and its setting.
Yeah,
No, the
absolutely.
gameplay is not what's fun about those
No.
games. Um, and so it's tough for me with those games because one, I am a horrible coward when it comes to horror games.
Yeah.
This is well documented, and two, um, I am used to, or the gameplay experiences that I like are varied and they're technical and they are like because like for example, Legend of Zelda is a lot of different types of gameplay in it. Especially the 3D Zeldas, which have first-person shooting aspects, and they have third-person action aspects, and they have puzzle aspects. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And Devil May Cry, which I would say is my other sort of like flagship console franchise, is has a focus on combat, but also has other types of gameplay going on, and is more in that like style. And Bayonetta is, I think, the ultimate expression of that, where it largely is combat, but it also has like fun shooter aspects and that sort of thing. And so for a game like Amnesia, I have a hard time. I almost have like game ADD because I'm like, all right, I solved a puzzle. What's the next thing I do? Oh, I solve another puzzle.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I mean? And
It's
I
like
don't
I solved a puzzle while being harassed by the creepy thing. What do I do now? I solved a puzzle while being harassed by the creepy thing.
right, and that's fine because there are games that do that well. Like Portal is really good and that's because it varies its gameplay
yeah.
style.
But also the puzzles themselves are interesting.
Right.
You know, I don't ever look at a puzzle in Amnesia and be like, yeah, that puzzle was great.
Right, like, oh, I went and fetched the flask and I mixed the correct ratio of chemicals together, which created an acid that will melt through the bubble gum, like sort of thing. And I don't know. That's cool. I respect those games. I'm glad they exist.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I enjoy them. I enjoy watching other people play them more.
Right. No, I agree. They're so narrative that it's almost not worth playing.
It's funny because they're narrative experiences, but like, and that's what I like. But it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to keep me interested. It's funny because you'd think that Five Nights at Freddy's would be the opposite of what I like, since it is not a narrative experience and is fully a gameplay experience where you do the same things over and over again. But I actually like playing those games.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so E3. Final thoughts?
I think I think it's interesting. I think, for me right now, a lot of my favorite core series, Dishonored, Deus Ex, Just Cause, are kind of, pushing towards their next iterations, which are probably not going to be out until 2016. I think there's a few cases, where other games like Fire Emblem and stuff like that are coming out. To me, it felt like most of the games I was very excited about and that are going to come out before the next E3 are sort of things that I already knew about. But I was pleased to see the progress, and so for me, the success of E3 was as a progress report more than as startling revelations. The remake thing is certainly something big, and Mass Effect Andromeda and those kinds of things were big things, but there was so little information that we have to reserve so much judgment until we really know more.
Well, I guess that was what I was going to say. I feel like for me, and I think this is reflected a lot in the conversation that we have, there wasn't really a lot for me to latch onto for this E3.
Yeah.
I feel like most of my excitement comes from the Final Fantasy VII reveal trailer, which, again, you nailed it. There's nothing to talk about there. It's a cinematic trailer. Who knows when we'll see that game? Yeah. There wasn't even a date. That's why I'm not excited about Kingdom Hearts either, because it was a lot of the same stuff that we've seen already, and there wasn't a date.
Yeah. Yep.
Street Fighter V I already knew about, and it was nice to see, but it wasn't, and then from the Nintendo end of things, even there, where there was a lot of the games I was interested in, like Hyrule Warriors is already out. Triforce Heroes looks good, but it doesn't. I'm not like extremely excited about it like I am with Zelda games.
Yeah.
Mario Maker, whatever. Fire Emblem Fates, of course, I am very excited about. but yeah, I mean, like outside of Nintendo and Final Fantasy VII, um, I don't know. There's not a lot for me to latch onto. I feel like a lot of the focus on from other companies this year came from a sort of game that I'm not really interested in
Yeah.
this year. I think the closest thing I can think of right now is Horizon, probably.
Yeah. Now that was to me in terms of new series or new possible series or completely different things. I did think Zero Dawn was probably the most interesting, completely new thing.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't try to put these sorts of shows in terms of like success or failure. Like was this
Yeah.
a good E3? Was this a bad E3? I just think this year, a lot of the games that were focused on were things that I like. I guess like with Mass Effect, I get to be mad at its existence for a while, but like they didn't show us anything, so it's hard for me to focus on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that largely what I enjoyed was the variety of things that we saw. Sometimes, I think that we were very shooter heavy this year. But like we saw a lot of like lady protagonists,
Which
which
was
was
good.
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Um,
And they were lady protagonists that weren't, overly sexualized or objects or things. I felt like, Emily Caldwin, the woman from Zero Dawn who narrated her own trailer, that
right,
kind of thing. I felt like these are human beings, these are people, these are heroes of video games. Let's rock.
right. But yeah, no, I mean, this year was not the most exciting for me, but there were things that I think are interesting and I'll keep my eye on. But nothing. I don't think there's anything from this E3 that I'm like I must buy, except for Final Fantasy VII, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me right now, like the only games that I really look at and say I would consider buying these new are, probably Just Cause,
Yeah,
Deus Ex,
sure.
Dishonored, even though it didn't show up during E3, I would also kind of throw an XCOM 2 to that as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. XCOM 2.
Um,
It wasn't at E3, was it?
no, I don't. I think the trailers have been released recently. I don't think they were shown like at E3 or whatever. But whatever.
Right. All right.
Uh,
So yeah, I think we both had things that we liked and disliked. I
yeah.
think it was just definitely more of a you E3 than a me E3.
No, I would agree with that. I think in general the tone was more in my direction. But I also, I will say that I do feel like, isn't that kind of the direction of gaming though, right? I mean, I feel
No,
like
well that I didn't want to get out of the gate and just
yeah,
be like I just feel like this is where things are going.
yeah,
But I just feel like this is where things are going.
yeah, yeah.
Like
No, but I also, I think the question then becomes though, the things like if, for example, if Final Fantasy VII were to be revealed at next year's E3 to be a turn-based JRPG,
uh,
are we going to see, because styles come and go? Are we going to
right.
see a return to anything? I don't know.
I would love that, but I just don't think that's going to be how it goes. Largely because I think that people have now been trained to feel like that sort of game is a handheld sort of thing,
Mm.
not a console.
Okay.
I think that we have, as consoles have gotten more popular, have gotten trained to feel like console games are AAA experience.
Sure. Sure.
I don't think that people. I don't think that there's such a thing as a low key console release anymore. Not really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not for like a main game like that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, especially from Square, and that's why I feel like Square. There's no way that they're going to. There's no way that this is going to be like just a JRPG. I think I would be.
Yeah.
I would love. Please prove me wrong. I would
Yeah.
love to be
Yeah.
wrong.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. And,
Yeah, I think so.
We covered everything and had our responses. And we're going to get back to regular HTLT soon. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
that's coming soon.
And then, I guess we'll be back here next year for discussions on where this wacky business slash art slash whatever the F it is
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't really like. I don't want to touch upon like people like controversies and stuff. Fuck that.
Yeah, whatever. It's,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to us pontificate about video games.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Later. Bye.